Welcome to the Black Educated Tea podcast where we have conversations on how Black women navigate through life and education. I'm your host, Makeda Marine. I'm a life coach and strategic consultant. In this safe space and in this podcast, we have conversations on how we balance and navigate through life, education, corporate America, entrepreneurship, motherhood, love, just so many topics. It's just endless. Please join us for the Black Educated Tea podcast so you can be a part of these magnificent conversations. Welcome to the Black Educated Tea podcast. I'm your host, Makeda Marie, and today's topic is taking advice from people. But as always, before we get into the tea, let's get into this tea. So I'm drinking a serendipity tea today by Oasis Vibe. Really good tea. Really sweet to me. Well, not really sweet, but it is sweet. Sweeter than most teas. As always, I don't really add much, sweetener to it. So I didn't add anything to it because it has like rose petals and I think dandelion. It has a lot of different teas in it as well. Really good benefits. It's, serendipity tea, Oasis Vibe. I suggest you really try it. Really good tea. And you can mix it up and make it however you want. If you want to add sweetener to it or not. I just don't. That's just how I drink my teas. And sometimes I do add a little sweetener. Just depends. But today, no sweetener. Just serendipity tea. So today's topic, watch who you take advice from. And when I say that in the... try to say that in the kindest way that I can without, trying to come off a certain way, honestly. Because I have been around some people that have gave me great advice and they had the best intentions behind it. And I have been around people who gave me some of the worst advice and they knew they had ill intentions behind it. So just watch who you take advice from. And sometimes take it like a grain of salt. I'll put it that way. Know the person that's giving you this advice. Know what their intention is for you. If it's someone that truly, deeply loves you and they are, they're giving you some advice. And sometimes it's advice that you do not want to hear. The constructive feedback type of advice. So sometimes it's even advice and things that we don't want to hear, but we probably need to hear it. So just know who it's coming from. If it's coming from someone you truly know loves you and they're not trying to leave you astray and they're just trying to look out in your best interest, take that advice and use it appropriately. I will say that. But when it comes to people, when they have shown you, proven to you the type of person that they are, and, people can show you how they are with their actions, the things that they say, and the things they say about others as well. So watch out for those that always have something negative to say about others. They can never say nothing positive about anybody. It's like, geez, you can't say nothing good about anybody. You don't necessarily want to take advice from that type of person because that advice is probably ill intentions behind it. Ill will is probably not in your best interest. And, it could be harmful. It could definitely be harmful. Because like I said, I've had plenty of family and friends and, people I've worked with. And, I've had some really good advice over the years. And I've taken that advice and I've applied it to my life personally, professionally. And it's been really beneficial because I don't know it all. I don't claim to know it all. Especially when it's an elder that I respect. When it's an elder that I respect and they have been there and done that and, everything I'm going through in life now, they've already been through it. So they can give you advice and they can, give you guidance and direction and just show you what to do and what not to do. Even a lot of my peers, I can take advice from my peers as well. But I have to be mindful with elders and peers, to be honest. Because everybody is just not for you. Everyone is just not for you. But I really take the advice of elders a lot of times. I just have that connection with elders. So I take their advice a lot of times. Because I have ran into some elders that had ill intentions for me. And for me, with me being an empath, I can pick up on it kind of like right away. I can pick up on it vibe, your actions, your mannerisms, and your facial expressions. So I can pick up on a lot of things very quick. When you're trying to give me advice or, comments or whatever you're trying to give me, I can pick up on it really quick. Like, I don't think she really has good intentions for what she's telling me. Then you can read between the lines too. You can really read between the lines when someone is giving you some advice. If you're just asking someone, girl, should I apply for this job? I don't know if I can really do it, or I don't know if this is the right job for me. And, if their advice is, well, you probably don't want to apply for it, then, that's not necessarily good advice. Not for me, at least. If someone comes to me and they say, hey, I'm thinking about applying for this job. What do you think I should apply for? My answer is yes. Why shouldn't you? What is it going to hurt to apply for it? My answer is always, yes, apply for it. And if it's going to be your job, it would be your job. What does it hurt to apply for? Because if you've already thought of it and it's something that you want to do, it's not my job to deter you or tell you not to. And I've had people like that. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want that job? It was always questions, and it wasn't positive advice, no matter what the situation was. So you don't want those individuals around you. You don't want people around you that you're able to go to for advice. And you get what you need, whether you want it or not, whether it's good or bad. Because for me, constructive feedback, that type of advice was terrible for me because I did not want to hear it. But it's what I needed. I looked at it as bad advice for years. I did. I looked at it as bad advice for years. But the people that it was coming from, I knew that they had no ill intentions toward me. I knew they loved me deeply. So when they would tell me these things, I knew it deep down inside. I just did not want to hear it. I didn't want that advice. I did not want that advice, but that's still the advice that I needed. So you need a balance of both. You need the good advice, and it's not bad advice, but I'll just say the bad advice as well. The bad advice is the advice that you just don't want to hear, but you probably need to hear it. And if it's coming from a person, like I stated, that really, this person wouldn't do anything to hurt you, take that advice and apply it so you can make changes in your life or better yourself. Listen, I had to remove people from my life because all the advice was just terrible. It's like they couldn't, and it took me a while to pick up on it, but I was like, this person or these people, they can't never say anything good. They can't give me no good advice. It's always negative. No, you shouldn't do that. And if it was something bad, yeah, you probably should do that. And it's like, did you just hear what I just said? So just be mindful of the advice that you're getting from people and the person that it's coming from. Everybody's not out in your best interest. Everybody's not for you. Everybody's not meant for you. Some people are seasons. Some people are for a reason. And just know that even those individuals that you either had around you or have around you that's giving you bad advice, then just know that, no, this person is just for a season and for a reason. Maybe this bad advice that they're giving me, I need to just do the reverse of what they're saying. Because if they're the Debbie Downers and giving me this bad advice, but I know deep down inside and I have this feeling like that's not what I want to hear or that's not good advice, just flip that advice. And then just know that it's time for me to remove this person out of my life. Because you want people in your life that's going to give you the proper advice for you to thrive and for you to grow, whether this advice you want to hear or not. And that's point blank. If it's the advice that keeps you giggly and cheerful, or whether it's the advice you like, man, they telling the truth, I just don't want to hear it. That's the advice that you need. You don't need the advice where people are constantly putting you down or telling you that you can't do something or that you shouldn't do something. You don't want that kind of advice. because it's either ill intentions behind it, there's some jealousy behind it. It's just not in your benefit. So just watch the advice that you get from people. Watch the person that's giving you that advice and start just paying attention. You'll be surprised. If when you have conversations with people, close family, close friends, or coworkers, start really just sitting back and taking a moment and listen to those conversations and look at how they respond when you ask them a question or when you ask them for advice. Look at what their response is. And if you actually take the time to sit back and listen and pay deep attention to the conversation, you'll be surprised at some of the people. It's like, no, that's negative. That's bad advice. This person is probably not suited to be in my life at the moment. And and it could just be for the moment. Or this may be someone you need to just completely get rid of. And I've had to do that. I have to do that on several occasions. And because it just wasn't advice, there was so many other things that was red flags for these people that I needed to just remove myself in order to grow. So the advice part was just one of it. It was just one of many things that this person or these people showed me who they really were. And so for you, it's going to be the same thing as well. It's going to be so much more than just the advice part of it. That's just a component of it, of this person's personality and their ways and their action. This is just a small part of it. So there's going to be so many other things as well that's going to show you this person is so negative. This person is jealous of me. This person really has it out for me. So just notice, pay close attention to those things. Watch who you take advice from and watch the person that is giving you the advice. And as always, this is the Black Educated Tea Podcast.